Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dota team ban. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining.
Slada.
Radiant team pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Mirana.
Radiant team pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Life Stealer.
Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the COD League season number for our second series of the night. BoRe up against Duop. This is game number 1 in our 2-game set. I'm Patreon Goom. Thanks for joining us once again for some more action in our group stage. Duop They are currently...
Seconds remaining.
Let's check the standings real quick. They are currently 2-0. BoRe are at 3-1, having gotten the split up against Midas Club. And both teams have done pretty well here, but Duop, they're trying to find their groove again. They're changing up the lineup a little bit, adding a couple of new faces in there. BoRe, they've got some new things going on there as well, so teams in the roster swapping period, trying to pick up and drop some new players. So we're just going to have some guys moving around, as we have Yawar and Biryu joining up for Duop. And BoRe are going to have Syok and Mastermind here for them. I think those are the players that we haven't seen from them before. So here we go. We are currently in the draft. Duop go with the Mirana Rubik to start. And BoRe will have a Slaughter and Leicester, that very well-known combo for their draft that many teams are just they're very comfortable with letting other people have. That combo doesn't really seem as strong to them anymore. They're definitely more than willing to try to play up against it. Or definitely can play this in a certain way that allows the combo to be very strong. We'll see what the counter is for Duop though. They're going with the core Mirana to start. And they're going to have the Rubik and Ogre Magi as well. Rubik, one of the more sought after supports in the draft right now. And Ogre Magi also a fantastic pickup for Duop to have here. BoRe going to be getting the Witch Doctor to help bolster the lineup, give themselves a little bit of healing. Also, Paralyzing Cast can just be so strong. It's very easy for Rubik to seal Death Ward, but I think that's something that BoRe are going to have to be okay with. Especially with tanky heroes like the Sworder and Lifestealer.
Reserve time.
And the Sworder Lifestealer combo, in terms of what it can do right now, it can do a huge amount of damage to heroes with the long duration stun on Crush. And then I think we already know exactly how effective that combo can be, but Duop, they're going to try to go for some kind of counter with the Centaur Warrunner. Being extremely tanky, that is one here that is going to be really difficult to burst down for BoRe. They do have some minus armor with the Corrosive Haze, but they're going to have to find some way to deal with the Centaur Warrunner for Duop, which is probably going to become extremely tanky for them.
5 seconds remaining.
So the Centaur
Reserve time.
is really gonna try to almost play the role of the bristleback that we see Freedom try to run. You're just gonna try to get a huge amount of health items early, try to get tanky enough for his team that is going to hurt the Leicester quite a bit for when he tries to go onto the Centaur. Also a really big frontliner, possibly a good initiator. Right now, Duop, they do have quite a few stuns on their team, so lots of setups for an arrow, and huge amount of magic damage with the double edge and double starfall from Mirana. Looking at our bans, BoRe taking a couple of those ranged heroes out of the draft. They take the Weaver and Draw Ranger away, heroes that can do kind of well as a combo. We actually even saw one team go for that together yesterday. Just the Weaver and Jaw Ranger first, and it seemed to work pretty well for Team Freedom. But they get banned out in the 3rd and 4th spots by BoRe here, as they pick up the Shadow Fiend. Again, that's another good minus armor aura with the Demonic Presence. Kind of stacking that minus armor there, allowing the Lifestealer to do some more damage.
Reserve time.
And I really like the huge physical presence that BoRe are going to have here. Lots of minus armor needed to deal with the huge health pool of the Centaur Warrunner here. If we take a look at our last bans then, it's going to be a Sand King taken away by Duop. Just trying to make sure that BoRe don't have that extra stun presence. They already have 2 heroes that can keep the enemy out of fights or lock them down for a few seconds. And Sand King would be just giving so much with some constant burrow strikes through the team fights as well. I mean, Rubik would also be able to do pretty well with the burrow strike, but it's not really something that you want BoRe to be running around with. Kind of like scissors, you don't want to run around with those either.
10 seconds remaining.
So we are up to the last picks for each team. BoRe banning out the Slark away from Duop. That would be an interesting pick. I don't know if I would necessarily go for it with the high burst damage ability of BoRe. Eventually the Slark could get quite a bit of health, but even then it might be difficult to go up against the heroes that BoRe has. I think it's really just to probably just protect the Shadow Fiend, honestly, since he has a lot of different ways to juke around the fight.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So BoRe will be able to pick the Batrider. Very surprising that he made it this late into the draft. So this means it should be a support Slardar for them, which I think Duop kind of guessed, possibly seeing the support Slardar before from BoRe. Be working pretty hard with the Witch Doctor, trying to create some space, and that does mean that the Blink Dagger timing will be a little bit later for BoRe, or should be a little bit later. But even then, you're still gonna have the Batrider to go into fights on, so it's not like a slow Slardar Blink is going to affect BoRe a huge amount, as long as the Batrider can have a good early game. And then with that, Duop will just go with the Morphling, and they would have the shotgun potential. Not really a counterplay against the Batrider Lasso here at all, but it's something that should be able to survive pretty well against the Slardar Lifestealer when that starts going on. You can just strength more through the disables and still probably come out on top of the fight as well. So our lineups are now complete between Duop and BoRe, and we'll be moving into game number 1 of our 2-game set.
10 seconds remaining.
BoRe with some fairly good team fighting abilities. Duop really just want to try to split the fight up, not let BoRe be able to throw out their entire combo the whole time. So they want to try to break up the fight a little bit here. And here we are, nearly ready to start game number 1. We did have a 2-0 victory for Mad Kings earlier over End, and did show some pretty good play up against Team Freedom, managing to take one game off of them, but in the end it was not going to be so. Also, the game that was supposed to be after this, End versus FDL, has been rescheduled for January 13th, so we will not be seeing that one today. And I think our players are just about ready to go. So just because we are going through a couple of roster changes, I will introduce our lineups here. So starting with Duop, already going with the smoke, we're going to have Biryu on the Rubik Ogre Magi, played by Sarisian. Mirana in the mid lane is going to be 747. Our Yawar Morphling will be the carry, and then finally off lane is going to be snaking as per usual for Duop. Going to be playing the Centaur Warrunner. Meanwhile for BoRe on the other side of the map, we've got Slardar handled by MDL. Lifestealer is going to be Necroman. Our Batrider is going to be handled by RNT. Witch Doctor is Syok, and then finally the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane is going to be played by Mastermind. They're just going to be hanging out near the shrine They're just gonna sit there. Gonna pop the smoke. Snake King, he's gonna be hanging out near that top rune spot, but no one's going to be meeting him there. Meanwhile, we could have a Clash 747 getting a little bit close to the Dire side here. He could possibly have the high ground, but take a look at this. The rest of the Dire, they're going to be seeing Eric Dunn come around soon, and they're going to have both Biryu and 747, catching them both out with the coconut. They'll find the first blood on the Biryu, and that might actually be it with the lack of range that BoRe have here. But they still managed to find the first blood and also take the bounty rune on this side of the map. Meanwhile, RNT, he's going to be taking the one on his own side. And each team might still be able to get... Oh, yeah, they'll both get 2. Snake King just throwing out the stun on the MDL, having the vision advantage there, allows him to be able to pick up the rune. So our mid lane matchup, we've got 747 up against Mastermind. So your team is just going to hang out here on a little bit of the wrong side of the tower. He should be able to go for the ignite first, and he's actually going to smoke up looking... Well, someone's gonna... Honestly, I thought that was a smoke. I guess not. Meanwhile, at top, lots of damage out onto Snaking. He's going to be open wounded up. He's not got enough mana for another stomp, and that will be the second blood the way of the tri-lane. MDL is going to pick it up there. Fury with 3 napalm stacks on him bottom. Snaking just getting a bit too far out there, and was not really expecting the fact that there could be a tri-lane against him. And take a look at this. Circean's going to not see the courier come up, but he will see it there. Now he goes for the bloodlust. He's going to try to get the courier kill, and it was not noticed by the Shadow Fiend. Tries to go over to the lane, and Ogre Magi is underneath the tower for this, and they might actually get a kill for this. Oh, missing the arrow out onto the creep, and Mastermind blocked in by the Ogre. So they get the courier as well as the Mastermind kill. That is well worth the dive for Duop. I'll have to see if Snaking gets picked off again, though. MDL's making his way over there. Does have the crush. This time Snaking, he's still at level 1. And he supports R out leveling him just because of how far he's been forced to stay away from the lane. 747 is starting to go in onto Mastermind, taking the range creep out of there. MDL does have a crush available. Could just throw it out. Decides not to. Wants to conserve his mana for now. Meanwhile at bottom, RNT forced to use the Firefly. Rubik, he does have the telekinesis, but with the Firefly still going, it's very unlikely that they're going to kill RNT. So they'll just let him go for now. Neckerman will be sitting there hitting the creep wave. Getting some good farm for now. Smoke around the backside for MDL. See what he wants to do here. Nice little Radiant Courier there. And he's gonna run right over towards MDL, trying to stay safe, but MDL is reading this one like a book. Ogre's gonna go over there. Oh, MDL, can he find it? He will. He'll be able to get 1, uses a sprint, goes for 2. That will be it. So we've got the courier trade early. 1 for each team. Mastermind will be getting his courier back in about 30 seconds, having enough gold for nearly a bottle. At least the boots if he wants them. And Ogre really wants to make the Slider pay a little bit. Doesn't really matter though. Gonna be a little bit too slow to catch the slippery fish. The slippery fish, he goes up over to the mid lane 747, trying to get a little bit greedy, but there's the crush, and he does have the Starfall to throw out onto MDL, doing some nice damage there. 747 just wants some last hits, has to be careful that a raise doesn't get thrown out. It didn't, but he still leaps away. Raises are still at level 2 for now, so they might not have even done enough damage to the Mirana. RNT has now been forced in the jungle. Going to be farming up the neutral camps for now. Doesn't really want to be picked off, and he knows that the danger is there as long as Duop are keeping a tri-lane in the lane with him. So Snakings, he's at level 3 right now. And again, he hasn't really been able to find too much on the map. The lane is continually getting pulled by Siok. But Yuar right now is at the top of the net worth, so definitely a fantastic player. Maybe overshadowed a little bit by his brother, but I'm sure it's just a little bit of friendly rivalry, although I'm sure both of them would love to beat each other, and Yuar might be able to have the team to do so if he is indeed sticking with Duop. Mastermind's rotated into the jungle for now. Up to the Wraith Band and the bottom, but now he's been found out. He's got range drops that could definitely help him out here, and they can't really fight around the shrine, so BRU's gonna be forced back out of this one. But he's gonna go right into Siok. He throws out the stun. MDL has a crush. He'll get it off Mastermind with 1 raise, and they're gonna turn around. He actually kept himself alive with the magic stick there a little bit longer than BoRe expected, so they had to spend a little bit more time with the Rubik. Some quality time by the fireplace of the raises. Eventually he is going to be picked off. carries are very close to each other right now. As UR just puts some damage out on the RNT. With the waveform down, he does have to be very careful that he doesn't let the napalm stack up. But he is still doing pretty well on the last hits for now. 747 has to get a little bit better in the mid lane. One kill, helping him out just a little bit. Taking a look at this, RNT right next to the shrine. He's going to pop in and try to fight against BoRe. MDL making his way over here. Going to be lifted up, thrown back. But BoRe, he's taking a lot of napalm stacks as a result of this. We're Magi has to get in here. Lots of napalm stacks. RNT with the Firefly coming up in 9 seconds. You are trying to turn this around. MDL has another crush up in 1 second. And he's not going to be able to use it. Rubik and Slaughter just having some bodies right next to each other, dying. Over there. And well, Mastermind is still farming up inside the jungle. MDL will be able to help him out just a little bit. But Mastermind, as soon as he had the boost and raindrop delivered inside the jungle, he also got some help with the TPs over to the shrine. Making it very difficult to kill him there. Even if he didn't have the raindrops, it might have been very difficult anyway with the TPs coming in, but you know, you never know. Gotta love that little slider now on Morphling's shift. I feel like that's one of the only heroes that's possible for, but it's nice that they added it, even if they probably spent so long on such a little change. It's a good quality of life thing though from Morphling players. You are showing off a nerf, a possible buff actually to the hero with that extra slider. Heel's made his way over here, and UR doesn't have vision of it, but he does know that someone could be lurking, especially with the TP over to the lane. RNT will just farm. UR stepping up, that's 1 stack of napalm. He does need to be careful that these don't just keep going. He's actually going to find MDL over to the side, and he's going to start to harass him away as well, so UR doesn't seem to like too many people hanging around his lane either. Bunch of duop hanging around the dire jungle and the mid lane. They're not pushing any towers just yet though. Neither team has really done too much of that. They don't really have items that are suited for it until the Life Steward gets a few more items, until Morphling really starts to just go ham. Possibly a little bit of a dive at mid, but 747 is going to think better of it. Does have double Starfall as well as the Arcane Rune. Alright, chasing down UR a little bit. Not too much is going to happen there though. 747 just wants to put some damage out onto the tier 1. At top, we possibly have some trouble. BoRe in so much trouble. And maybe some very unlucky bounces from the Paralyzing Cask as well. Even the charge being used to try to save the support, but when you're stunned so much by the Paralyzing Cask, it's just really difficult to be able to stay alive there. 747 still staying strong at mid. He's starting to look for the gold for his Aghanim Scepter as UR just wants to solo push in bottom. RNT is ready with the lasso. Napalm's going to be there. Let's see if they want to actually go onto UR. They'll put 2 stacks of Napalm on him. Maybe when he gets to 3, he'll be able to go for the waveform. He'll actually try to just fight it, but he's going to go right over to the bat right now. He's trying to get the strength. Yeah, he will be able to get the strength morph up that he needed. And with a little bit of help from his team, they're able to dissuade the enemy from pushing any further onto that. But still, no towers for either team. Very few kills. BoRe having a little bit of an advantage there. They'll be quickly making their way back over towards bottom. BoRe leading the charge onto the tower, and he could just throw off the lift. Gonna use the Fade Bolt first. He's got the clarity. Break will be there to start to do a little bit of damage to him, but the tower's already very low. Not sure how much BoRe are going to be able to do here. They don't have a fortify. They'll look for the deny, but UR just attacks way too fast and does too much damage for BoRe to handle. So at least the first tower of the game goes away of Duop, even if not much else is. And, well, Snake King's still trying to get his farm up. He's up to level 7 right now, so he has level 4 into the double edge. And we have the smoke in from Duop. We're not really close to this at all, since you were being placed. Could find a couple of heroes inside the jungle. Necroman is there. Smoke could pop onto Thriston. He wants to get to the high ground. And Necroman into the tomato creep. Oh, that's not a great sign for Duop here. They're going to be forced to waveform out. You are nearly getting stuck there. He's going to get away though. MDL looking for a crush, but you have to go way too far. Possibly they go into 747. They'll throw out the Corrosive Haze. RNT possibly looking for the lasso, but he's just going to go over to the side right now. He does have the drums up and the tranquils, so some pretty good move speed for him if he pops those, but there's not really too much doing here for BoRe. A couple of raises in the mid lane. Clearing out the creep wave. Mastermind wants to go forward. He'll get an ignite thrown at him in return. On 3 levels in Bloodlust for the Ogre Magi. And Yoar just wants to find farm anywhere on the map that he can. So he's even going into the dire jungle right now to try to get some creeps. And he may be scoured out here. He did just get out, leaving 1 creep for MDL to kill off. So some good sense by Yoar. He's really been pretty on point with his game sense for at least this match. Not being in situations too long, being able to keep his farm around the map, and he really does need to as a Morphling. Not want to get caught out in places that he shouldn't. Looks like we're going to have a bit more of a concerted push at top though. At least for BoRe, as they do make the smoke around Biryu. He may have seen the MDL Swarter going over to mid, and 747 he could be in a huge amount of trouble. Necroman, oh, are they going to come in from behind? MDL, can we look at MDL? Doesn't have a blink. Heroes are stepping up at top, heroes are stepping up at mid. Snake King might actually walk right into the trap. He uses the charge right away though, manages to get out, and that smoke gank is not going to be able to work for BoRe. It's a great reaction from Snake King. He gets away from that stun and his team out of trouble as well. Thought he might be in a bit of a sticky situation with his positioning, but no way. He was completely in control of the situation. MTL possibly looking for Uar. Uar throws out 1 attack. He's going to get stunned out, but the strength gain is still going. Okay, Death Lord used Biryu. He's stolen the Maledict though. By Stewart into the melee creep. And it's killing MDL. His teammate is now killing him. He'll just dominate the creep back or use the mind control. Right now, Duop seems to be waiting for when 747 is able to get an Aghanim Scepter up. We have a lot of personnel here at top. Uar is still working towards the link in the sphere. Maybe Necroman will come in from the side. Infest is down for another 60 seconds. Corrosive pays out onto Uar, who will waveform forward. Doesn't seem too afraid of MDL at all. Circean looking at the damage that he's going to get. He's going to see Necroman going for the rune, and there will be a stun out. Necroman really cannot afford to fight against the Ogre right now. As Snake King starts to go in behind the trees, charges available. Blink is there as well. He doesn't really want it just out on the MDL, looking for another target. Just letting his team push this in. At mid, 747 possibly in some trouble, but it's a couple of cores with no way of stunning him, so he just manages to leap away. And he'll be able to take down the tower. So right now, Duop have taken 2 towers off of BoRe, and neither of the teams really is too terribly fantastic at pushing in towers. We are going to have on the backside an open lose onto an illusion. Meanwhile, Sward are killed off. Not really sure why they thought that illusion was fair game. Barry wants to go forward a little bit. We are going to have a stomp on the high ground. Finding out Necroman. Necroman trying to back away. China's off. Not available there. Charge away. Oh, Witch Doctor kill off in the middle of the lane. 747, he'll be lassoed back in, not really respecting the Bat Rider there at all. The Shrine was down, possibly a better fight for Duop to be taking there, but they just didn't really have the personnel. Now Snake King, stomp out onto the Shadow Fiend. Flame broken back. Snake King, just all that health that he has is so worthless up against Mastermind, who's got 2 levels up into the Demonic Presence. It's not really enough for the Snake King Centaur there. And he hasn't really gone the physical damage survivability route either. He went Blink, and I think he's picking up a Crimson Guard right now. Or maybe just the Hood of Defiance. So that could help him against the raises, but not the physical damage. If he does go for the Hood of Defiance. Taking a look at our net worth, we are about 1,000 in favor of BoRe, still very close. 3,000 for XP. Nice Stewart manages to use the infest onto a creep target, getting through the hard camp just that much faster. So once Rubik gets up to level 10, he should be able to get quite a bit of gold for items. Bat Rider being chased down a little bit by himself, and then chased back into the lane by the Morphling, who are just telling Bat Rider to get out of there. Doesn't really want him there at all. Shadow Fiend is still farming up very well though. Has the highest net worth on the board. He'll be going for a BKB pretty soon. The rest of his team is farming up rather well in addition to that. Yes, that is. Lifesteer's Echo Saber being delivered on the courier. Here you will just pull the creep wave beneath the tower. Still waiting on a couple of key items for Duop. We do have the Lincolns on Morphling now though, so perhaps you want to get a little bit more involved in these fights now. He is going to go the shotgun route, or the very narrowly focused shotgun route. I haven't seen a whole lot of arrows from 747 either. MGL thinking about going in. There's no Blink Dagger for him. He just wants to put out a Corrosive Haze, which he does on the 747. And Mastermind, he is ready with the Shadow Blade. Needs to be careful thinking about the Requiem, but he also kind of needs MDL to get the control there. And they may know a little bit about the Shadow Fiend, Shadow Blade. Okay, there's going to be the Blink Word, lasso out on Mirana, and as Necroman just pops right out, 7% tries to blink away. The cast is going to hit. He's going to not get hit by that Flame Break. Nice stop by Snake on the backside. Huge damage from UR there as well. They're going to kill off the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend Illusion also doing some damage from the low ground. Wait for him up in another 5 seconds. UR needs to do a little bit more damage here. He's got the Lincoln Sphere up. Moonlight Shadow also allowing him to move forward. Damage out on the Seok. That is the damage that he needed. Double kill for UR. Blink forward. There's the stop by Snakey. They're going to find another one. Triple kill. He is dominating right now. And that was an absolute fantastic fight for Duop. They could not let 747 fall there. And with the power kill, immediately Duop going to the Roshan pit. This new roster, it looks like it's breathing a little bit of new life into the Duop squad. They seem to be at a bit of a loss after the last patch came out. They did kind of well a few tournaments ago in the PD Cup, but they had been struggling for a little bit in some of the matches that they had, but they're looking a lot better now. And breathing a little bit new life into the squad. UR will pick up the Aegis. UR also pretty good for a lot of teams. Hopefully he's able to find a little bit of success with this new squad. At bottom, Biryu. He's getting scared out by Necroman. You can see that hungry look in his eyes. MDL, he's ready with the blink immediately into Rubik. I don't even know if they needed the infest for that one. They just blew him up so quickly. Nice little deep word placed on by Seok. BoRe is still getting something out of these, but the kill score at least has been tied. Bard pushing in the top lane. Still has yet to get the replicate out. And you can also see very clearly like where you are in the agility versus strength battle here. Interesting to see players play around with it. BoRe is pushing closer to the tower. It's a little bit more strength just in case the enemy team starts to go onto him. Fortify gets used. BoRe is going to send the Centaur forward. BoRe is still just pushing the tower by himself, and that might tell BoRe that they can feel pretty free to push in this tier 2, but a lot of duo-up are starting to get over the top, and he's been able to take down a tier 2. He might think about going for more. 20 seconds left on the replicate. And the Centaur illusion doing a lot of work here. Hoping that no one gets caught out at bottom. UR will just be a very aggressive and waveform forward, taking some of the aggro for the creep wave. 1047 taking care of the creeps. 1047 actually blinking forward to, or leaping forward to avoid the flame break and then blinking back. That's an interesting interaction. Mastermind kill off at bottom as well. Just caught out by the combo. As soon as BoRe were forced to go for the teleports back, we had Duop doing quite a bit of work there, interrupting the Shadow Fiend before he could leave, and that might turn into another tower for Duop. MGL looking for the pick-off. It's going to be away from the high ground. Morphling, he needs to get the strength morph. They also need to, well, they couldn't get the Crochet thanks to the Lincoln Sphere of UR. There's the lasso back. UR still healing up, or getting more strength rather. 1047 will find MDL. There's a long stun. You are still getting a ton of agility here. And Duop are still finding some pretty good fights, even if BoRe fight them pretty well. There's a TP onto the mid lane. Immediate stomp, double edge, looking for the blow up on the Shadow Fiend, forced into his Shadow Blade, healed up a little bit by Wish Doctor, but he's really got to hate the fact that he's not receiving a lot of love when he gets back into the lane. And Snake King might decide to go for the blink again. Does he have vision? They see him. Oh my god. Just underneath the rating observer, perfectly placed. And Duop are able to find another kill onto the Shadow Fiend. Skins popped. UR should still be able to find the tower. And I don't see BoRe being able to initiate onto this. Lincoln Sphere doing some work for UR. Not really caring if the enemy goes onto him too much or not. There's only one tier 2 tower remaining for Duop to take here. Mirana will get into the lane, pops the Starfall. And they're going to go in on this tier 2 tower. We're just pushing it in very quickly. 1047. He is up to the Blink Dagger and Aghanim Scepter. Morphling still getting some items as well. Right now, BoRe just trying to make some pressure at top, but again, Duop pushed this in so much better. It is a TP over to the top lane by Snakey. He's got to be careful. And he's actually going to blink right over to Necroman, who got the rage off in time. That's where doing some work. Cersei really cannot be here at all. 1047 gonna try to help him out. Moonlight Shadow is used. How hard can MDL go here? 747 is going to be invisible. Oh, nice blink away by MDL. Perfect arrow by 747, except for the fact that the Slarda was just a little bit better. And now actually they're going to go onto the Mirana. He's not got a chance to get away from here. Will be able to blink out, but there's a whole lot of damage coming in, and the Maledict eventually kills her off. Duop kind of throwing a little bit right now. 1300 gold over to BoRe after that one. But hopefully Duop can kind of curb their tendencies a little bit over the next few minutes and try to win this game, because otherwise, if they keep giving these pickoffs over to BoRe, it's going to be very difficult for Duop, especially with the very hard-hitting lineup that BoRe have here. Got the Desolator build up on Necroman. Just look at UR try to do some damage to him. At least there is an illusion made of the Lifestealer. Pretty strong. having a bit of a difficult time trying to chase him down. Leaves the corrosive haze out. Do kill him. Tower also got taken by the creeps anyway, even though there were a few heroes around it. Shadow Fiend. He will nearly have a BKB. Can buy it up soon. Looking for Duop to make that concerted push there. A lot of them are going over the top. MDL is ready for a 747. Okay, can he blink away? He's taking a lot of damage. He'll get out of the trees. Necroman trying to chase him down. Still has the rage going. There's the blow up onto the spider. They will very quickly take care of him. And Lifesteer, he can't stay alive here either. Arrow thrown out by 747 was not happy about getting ganked. And BoRe losing two pretty big heroes there in the Slaughter and Lifestealer, taking away a lot of their defense of this tower. Duop will push it in. Mastermind needs to come up big with the Requiem of Souls. He might do it right next to Yuar. Up on the high ground, lots of damage, but Yuar, he still managed to stay alive. In fact, he's going to go right in. BKB popped by Mastermind. Yuar doesn't really want to defend this. Death Ward is used. Yuar is still staying alive, and he's also got the replicate back. Now 747 a little bit far up. He's going to pop the Star Wall out onto Man, and can they get away here? No, RNT doesn't have the detection for him, so Marana manages to make it out scot-free. I don't know how you can get a free Scot. Maybe a great Scot. Great Scot would probably be a little bit better than a free Scot.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Gotta get that quality in there. And there was a Roshan taken. Morphling doesn't really have the Aegis anymore though. Smoke up from BoRe. Infest into MDL looking for a kill right now. Vision isn't great. They get a little bit here. It's a great initiation possibly. Maledict on the 2. Paralyzing Casket over everyone, but Witch Doctor, he will be immediately just shot down by Yuar. Yuar trying to get in on this one. For a little bit more, seeing if an arrow can hit, seeing if they can find something else, but Shadow Fiend, he'll just swag his way out of there. And perhaps Duop are confident enough to go for high ground with just the Witch Doctor being down. They just go for top though, and you are already doing a ton of damage to this. Witch Doctor back in 10 seconds. RNT might just decide to go in on that before, but very quickly, Yuar is taking down the set of racks. One for now. It's perfectly fine. Duop will be able to get in. We've got the crush on the backside by the Spider. Immediately blown up by Yuar. Yuar doing some good damage to Necroman. 747 taking a lot of damage from the Shadow Fiend. He needs to get away. He's not going to be able to. Crush keeping him there a little bit longer. And Yuar, he's staying alive. Huge damage from him. Barry lifting up the RNT Batrider. Very strong for support. Ultra kill for Yuar. He's not even going for the rampage. He just doesn't really seem to mind right now. Just wants to try to get this game to end. Now it's time for Yuar to go to the high ground. Mastermind's staying there. Does Yuar go for it? He's got the E-Blade combo. Go for a tier 3 right now. Mastermind needs to try not to get caught out by this. It will be the second full set of racks over to Duop. Yuar just standing and dealing the deeps. And he'll leave his illusions there to just clean up a little bit. So with those kills, Duop can just go for the shrines now. And Duop are looking for Roshan, which actually does respawn in a few seconds. If they stuck around the pit a little bit longer, they would catch him just in time. Also, Yuar is getting the components of his Lincoln Sphere right now. Some of them being delivered pretty close to him. Did have quite a bit of money. Or we'll go for the sneaky play, hanging out near the Roshan pit. We don't really think Duop are aware of this, and indeed they are not. And a very sneaky Roshan. We're going to be able to find it. Duop can't really get there until too late. Maybe they decide to fight here anyway. Moonlight Shadow is used, looking for Necroman to be blown up, but he does have the Aegis, remember. BKB also popped by Mastermind, doing some nice damage to the Sparta and eventually killing him. Now Snaking in some trouble. That's going to be just the Aegis. You are going forward. There's the E-Blade combo out onto the Bat Rider. You are needs to be careful. Or step forward. There's the lasso. On the other side, Shadow Fiend killed off. And Witch Doctor Ultimate doing some work up against the Morphling, but Morphling's going to go right back in, doing the damage there. And I don't know if Necroman and RNT can get out of here. RNT stunned by Ogre Magi, and that will actually be it. Necroman can't do anything anyway. It is going to be BoRe dropping game number 1 to Duop. That's just some very efficient play. We're also buying up the E-Blade there. Not like it even mattered.